work that time. I'm really happy about that. Anyway, welcome back. This is Jack. I was tweaking some things, and I wanted to make sure it actually kicked to the right camera, because last time I tried to do this, it went to that chair instead of over here. And in case y'all didn't know, my computer's right there. And I also have the new opener, so it's like I didn't know how everything was going to work out, and it worked. I'm happy. Yay! Hey, Trickster. By the way, chat's over there, so you'll see me looking over there every so often to address chat. And we will be moving over to my chair at some point, because I do have news to specifically cover. All right. So, for anybody who's been following the channel, I have not put out a video in like a week, I think. And I am self-conscious about that, but I do have a video I am working on. And I'm a little intimidated by the amount of B-roll I'm putting into it. It's not like the animated one I knocked out in a day, and that caught me off guard. But this one I got to pull from a lot of different episodes from an anime to explain different things, and also find some manga pages. For anybody who's wondering, it's answering the question is, what is the deal with the man god in that jobless reincarnation? Specifically when he says the phrase, if you go to save your mom, you'll regret it. I'm going to explain what he meant. Because when you come back, nothing happens. So it's like, honey? Was he talking about, like, hey, what, his mom being messed up and all that stuff? The loss of his dad? What was he talking about? Anyway, you'll find out in that video. Or if you've already read the manga, you know what's going to happen. You're like, like Trickster, because Trickster's read it. He knows what happens. Prepare to have your heart broken. Actually, something I do got to say about jobless reincarnation. Like, I got several things I got to say about that now. Something I got to say about jobless reincarnation. One thing I don't really like in anime, like I can deal with pervy characters. So you have like High School DxD where the character is extremely pervy, but a lot of his perviness he does with consent. Like a majority of it he does with consent. For those who can't see chat, Trickster's like, what happens is emotional damage, all caps. He said it like Dr. Doom would. How do you speak in all caps? Anyway, I generally can't deal with very pervy characters when they do it without consent. Like the main character of High School DxD, he's extremely pervy. He loves boobs and all that stuff, but he never tries to grope any of the characters without their permission. So that makes it tolerable. It makes me actually okay with it. Because like, I have a pervy streak myself. But you have the main character of Jobless Reincarnation who, as a baby, is peeping on people and taking their underwear. Like, there's a whole religion built around it. It's really weird. But they still made a story that was compelling enough for me to get past that, so I enjoyed that. I'm mentioning that part to get to this part. There's an anime I was trying to watch last night. I only got 3 episodes in. It has a cool premise. I actually like the premise. I like the story around it. But the main character is so pervy and annoyingly pervy. It's the legendary hero is dead, or something like that. The basic premise is the main character is like this farmer guy, and he's not exactly a good person. And he has a thing for thighs, especially thighs that women who have thick thighs and wearing thigh-high socks. That's kind of his thing. So anyway, at the beginning, he's like, he's just being a farmer and stuff like that. And then they're like, oh no, the demons have returned! Like, because apparently they were sealed away 3 years ago, but the barrier broke within 3 years. So he's like, legendary hero didn't do his job. Anyway, and so so one of the girls in his town that he's got a crush on, had a crush on his whole life, and was his friend growing up. He says, don't worry, they'll fall in my pit trap. And he just quickly made it was exactly what you think, square with spikes at the bottom and all that good stuff. And as soon as he turns around, a demon does attack. It's like, crap! And it's over there, and it's not going towards my trap. So he's like, wait, I know what I'll do. I'll fry this pork. And he starts like waving a fan at it. It's like, no, demon's like, I want to eat a human, not pork. And goes to eat her. Demon gets cut in half by the legendary hero. And like the legendary hero is the kind of guy you would expect. Like if you had to describe him as somebody, he's similar to the character from Faerun, like the actual legendary hero in Faerun. I can't remember his name. Heimel, that guy. Similar to him. Like very upstanding, really good guy. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm really hungry, I miss food. Oh hey, look, there's that food over on that grill over there, and falls in the spike trap, dies. That's just the start. And then this necromancer, who was one of the hero's companions, transfers the main character's soul into his dead body. Now it's not the body's resurrected and his soul's in. No, the body's still decaying. If he had any natural magic reserves of his own, the body wouldn't decay, but he doesn't have any. So that's the story premise, where he is now in the hero's body with all the benefits that come from it, like being really strong and stuff. But So that's a great concept. I love the concept. But the character's perviness, it is such a turnoff in the story to me. It actually destroys the story for me. At one point, he breaks into that girl's room that he grew up with. Mind you, still a corpse at this point. And because he's wanting to steal the necklace that contains his original body. Because if he breaks the necklace, in theory, he'd go back to his body. And he stops, goes, wait a minute. She is damn near naked, and her thighs do not have thigh-high socks on. He stops to do that. And he's like, my job is up. Wait a minute, that's not what I was here for. He is so pervy that he prioritized that. Like, this is, Minata? Minata? The purple, the guy with the balls on his head in My Hero Academia, that guy. Minata, I think it's Minata. Anyway. So, like, the concept and the premise is good, and I know some additional parts of the plot, because the rest of it's kind of been told to me, and it's really cool. Like, they actually go in more in depth about the legendary hero, about how awesome he actually was. Like, some actual, like, makes more depth to him. And why the barrier only broke in 3 years. He did that intentionally. But I can't get into it because of how pervy he is. It just upsets me. It bothers me. No, don't get me wrong. I'm a guy who doesn't, mind perviness in stories. It's just usually I'm more prefer consensual perviness. Ugh. All right. So, but if you're looking for something, not a terrible anime, I got another one I'm going to recommend. I'm going to go over that one when I get back to my chair. Calling to me over here. It's right there. All right. So, y'all might be wondering why I'm streaming today. Normally I stream this on Thursdays, and even the title is like, Let's Talk Tuesday? And the reason why is because Thursday, Space Marine 2 drops for those who've got early access. Hi, that's me. And I'm going to be playing it that day. I'm probably going to be streaming it on my Jack Daedalus channel. So I figured I would go ahead, pop in, do this stream, and go, hey, here's some of the things I kind of wanted to talk about. And I do want to stream more on this channel. One, it's fun. I love talking about this stuff. This is some of the stuff I kind of dabble in on my other channel anyway. And two, I need the watch hours here. If I'm being honest, I need the watch hours. Alright. So something I got bored and looked up, and this is normally what I have B-roll. I do want to eventually set it up where I have my phone, where I can have my phone next to me and I can like change the background behind me to show the. I'm winging this stuff most of the time. Stuff I'm pulling off the top of my head. Anyway, looking this up, and I got bored. I looked this up. When it comes to the ranking, like the most subscribers and stuff like that, out of all YouTubers, Markiplier is 11 or 10 depending on which one you look at. Love that. PewDiePie is actually at number one, like at 100 million or something like that. So, I don't like that. I don't. I hate younger PewDiePie. Now he seems to have chilled out. Original stuff. Like I still don't watch his stuff. Like hell, I like Jacksepticeye. I don't like his content half the time. Energy he puts out just puts me off. But and I like Markiplier because he seems legitimately like a good guy. Completely off topic, completely random thing. Something I looked up and I had to talk about. For anybody who's in the community, Trickster, who's a very loyal fan, I really enjoy it. Mod right now. He is collecting the Jobless Reincarnation audiobooks, so he's one of the people who knows what happens in the next season. He's at 15 out of 27 collected of the audiobooks. Yeah. And if you're wondering, now I'm going to tell a story on Trickster, and I don't know if he'll be annoyed at me for telling this story. The reason why he's going with the audiobooks is because it's easier to get his dad to listen to them so they get to enjoy the manga together, because dad won't read if it's a manga, or watch the anime, but he'll enjoy it if it's an audiobook. Things here. But hey, good time. Spend time with your family. It's always good. So, here's what I'm going to do. You're going to see me disappear from the camera for a second. And we're going to go over to my chair now, so I can start doing some of the semi-important stories I wanted to cover. Stuff that needs to have B-roll behind me. I remembered what button to hit! Yay! Alright. Yeah, it's me. I'm here. What are we gonna do about it, huh? Yeah, I'm sitting in my chair. Hell, you can actually see my workout bench behind me. Alright. Y'all ready? Alright. I gotta switch the tag is sticking out in my beanie and I don't like that. I need to just go ahead and rip that off. I don't know why it's still on. Anyway, for anybody who doesn't know why I wear the beanie, is the sides of my hair are growing out and it looks really goofy. Like, when I'm streaming on Jack Daedalus, I don't wear the beanie. often. So, anyway, let's go to this story. This is actually a really big deal. And of course, it's still having that issue. All right. I didn't address it like I thought I did. Un momento, por favore. I'm a little annoyed now. Short and stout. Here is my handle. Here is my spout. Tip me over and pour me out. That should have fixed it. There we go. All right. Anyway, actually, I'm going to check something anyway, I'll just go over this. I'll deal with that later. Anyway, so Concord came out less than a month ago. I don't remember exactly when it came out. Already being, today it was announced, being pulled from the store. Servers being closed, refunds going out. Already. Game just dropped and already being pulled. And it's not like some licensing dispute or anything like that. No, they're like, no, it's just not being liked. It's not getting any respect. So they're like, you know what? We're gonna yank it. We're gonna pull it, and we're gonna give everybody their money back. And that's kind of a big deal. Because a lot of developers, they'll wait. Like, imagine if they pulled this with Cyberpunk 2077. Now, mind you, Cyberpunk's a single-player game, so it's a lot less difficult to maintain up. We wouldn't have the Cyberpunk 2077 game that we have now if they had pulled it immediately. Like, yeah, Sony offered refunds almost immediately to anybody who wanted because of how buggy it was, specifically for the PS4 players. But I was on PC, so I didn't care. But yeah, that's kind of a big deal. Like, we wouldn't like, hell, No Man's Sky would be another one if they did the same thing. These games that after some time after development came out to be great. Now, what I'm hoping is that they don't completely abandon this, not because I care about the game at all. More of that, I hope that they're able to salvage something out of it. I just hope, because I hate the idea of wasting. Mind you, I wish EA had stuck with Anthem. Anthem had a lot of potential. I wish they had gone ahead with what was being called Anthem 2.0. I'm going to adjust the lighting situation on me right now, because it's set for the other stage right now. There we go. That looks so much better now. I was like being whited out earlier. Anyway, so this is kind of a deal. I was debating if I wanted to just make a video about this and talk about this specifically, but I'm like, you know what? I need to do my stream anyway for this, so let's go ahead and talk about this. What do y'all think about that? Like, I don't know if anybody here played Concord, but apparently its reviews were bad enough that it was only showing up in like the dustbin of Steam, and by that I mean like you would accidentally stumble across it if you were going through the adult section. I don't know why. Something one of my friends sent me. Actually, I'd probably have to dig through the Discord messages to find it, but I don't want to get pinged and get in trouble for it. That's one of the stories I wanted to talk about. Somebody actually made a good point. I was doing some research on this. Somebody made a good point. This game was in 6 years in development. 6 years. And some of you are like, okay. That's true. That's a fair point. They didn't do that. No. What I'm talking when I say they pull it, I'm not talking about they pull it and allow people to get refunds. I'm saying they pull it and it goes offline completely. Like they're like, this game is not being sold at all anymore or anything like that. And like, this is not just on Sony. Steam's also doing this too. That's kind of a deal. That's the difference. That's the difference. Also, hi, Cool Walker. But anyway, somebody pointed out a 6 year development cycle for this game is redonkulous. And the reason why is, let's see here. I'm going to pull up some of the games that were made 6 years ago. Let's see here. Oh, here, this will be fun. You'll love this. You'll love this. Oh, that's AI. Video games by year. It's 2024, so we're going to look at 2018. Games made in 2018. It's just a wiki I've got pulled up right now. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That's one that stands out. There was one, somebody said Destiny 1 was out. Dynasty Warriors 9. Detroit Become Human. Yeah, there's like looking at the games, the Guardians of the Galaxy video game had come out in 2018. God, I'm feeling old all of a sudden. Let's see here. What's the Final Fantasy that was out at the time? Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition had just dropped. That's how long ago that is. Far Cry 5. Yeah, Far Cry 5 being a big deal right there. I'm going to pull that one up specifically. Far Cry 5 came out 6 years ago. Actually, the game may have been an 8-year development cycle, not 6. But anyway, that's kind of a big deal. So the reason why you guys are like, wait, why is this a big deal? Because I keep saying it. Think about it this way. When you're designing and making the game, you have an initial concept at the 6-year go mark, if not older. So they're looking at this game going, okay, this is what we envision to make the game. And they took 6 years of making it. So the culture and what is expected of a game has evolved. And then not to mention, to my understanding, it was basically another Overwatch game. Yeah, that market's getting crowded, and all the games are free on there. You're launching the game for $40. Great idea. Like, no, seriously, if they had dropped like a free demo of it, like a free week of it, like, so say they launched it, I don't remember the day it came out, but we'll say it came out August 5th. So for like say for August 5th, for a whole week after that, you could play for free. Don't have to drop a dime on it. You have full access to the game. After that week is up, you can't play it anymore. You have to actually buy it. If they had done that, I imagine it would have done a lot better. Because a lot of people are like, I don't want to sink $40 in a game that just looks like Overwatch. And that's my thoughts on it. That is my thoughts on it. All right, I was gonna do another video about this one separately. I have to mute this because I don't want to get hit by copyright. This is something somebody made from Mythic Marty. And I had joked about doing a game like I wish that FromSoft would make a game like this, and I don't think they will. But somebody actually took that concept and made a trailer for it. This is called Dark Souls Rebricked. Somebody, no shit, made an animation of what a Dark Souls inspired Legos game would look like. And I'm sorry, I fucking love this. I love this more than I should. Anyway, that's all I'm going to show so I don't get hit by copyright. It'll probably still show up on their feed and they'll be like, hey, we're going to want you to take this video down. I'll be like, Anyway, and then I got one more. One more I had set aside. You know me, I always love me a good cosplay. There you go. For those who are Elden Ring fans, we got ourselves Firekeeper from Dark Souls 3, and we got ourselves a Millennia. Now, mind you, some alterations are done to, keep it relatively PC, but there you go. Always love me a good cosplay. Alright. Man, I burned through my topics way too quickly. Eventually need to start co-hosting this shit. Those are the major stories I wanted to cover. Kind of like... oh, there was one more thing. Yeah, now that I'm back at the chair, that's right. There was one more thing I wanted to cover. That's right. Thank you, Cool Walker. You just reminded me. You were thinking it, and it reminded me, so I got to talk about it. It's on my watch list for... Oh, in case anyone's wondering. The anime I was telling you that I couldn't stand the pervy character, that's this one right here. Like, overall, it's got a cool premise behind it. Some of the characters are engaging, but like how pervy the main character is just pisses me off. So if you like steampunk and zombies, or zombies and steampunk, or whichever order you want to say it, watch this. It is really good, actually. The concept is that there was like this weird zombie outbreak. And this is like Japan, effectively. But there was a zombie outbreak in a steampunk version of Japan. And the zombies aren't just zombies. They have like, they're called, it's not Kabinari, it's something else. Kabine. It's actually down in the description, I was reading it. They have a steel cage around their heart. So you can't, and the only way to actually kill them, not just dismember them, is to destroy the heart. but you can't. The firearms of that time can't puncture it. So a majority of the times, it just becomes more of just trying to, stem them from fighting you. Well, the main character, who is this guy right here, he basically makes a pile driver to figure out how to destroy the heart. A pile driver, basically a really powerful pneumatic press. And after that, he starts figuring out additional ways to destroy the hearts, but that's another conversation. And the story follows him as he's, gets wrapped up in like saving the train of people he lives on, because a majority of the way you live in what's referred to as stations or train stations, and because the only way you can leave these walled off areas is by train, and being on a train is not very safe either. And he's really just an engineer who figured this shit out. And I'm gonna spoil this part. Early in the first couple episodes, the station he grew up in gets destroyed because somebody messed up, and then it pretty much becomes the story of him trying to protect the train of the survivors. There's more to it than that. I'm not telling you everything. There's more to him too. So, Cabanane. Anyway, whatever. So I do really recommend. If you're looking for and mind you, one bit of warning: it's an emotional roller coaster. If it really will fuck with your emotions, similar to like how Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood does it, where there's like that 1 or 2 episodes where you're like, I really wish you didn't make me feel these emotions. But it's really good. I do recommend it. All right. And I'll talk about that too. Where are you? Oh, where is my hairbrush? Oh, where is my hairbrush? Oh, where, oh, where, oh, where, oh, where. Oh, I'm going to talk about this one. Like, I don't know what I was expecting. So I don't know what I was expecting. I got done watching this. I don't know why I did it. It plays out almost exactly as you would expect it. So the title for anybody who's just listening is High School Prodigies Have It Easy Even in Another World. So these people are like, even though they're all in high school, are like the pinnacle of whatever field they're in. This guy basically gets voted prime minister back when he's in Japan. He's like the world's best magician. She's the world's best engineer, like having like 5 Nobel Prizes behind her. She's raised ninja journalist, which is actually a really cool concept. She's like the greatest swords person in the world, like literally fighting people with guns because she can. She's the world's greatest doctor. She's weird. And he's like the best capitalist in the world. So they're on a plane together. All of a sudden they're in a new world. And they're used, and like, all their abilities are just ex machina to like fix everything in the world or break everything in the world or whatever. Like, I'm gonna spoil one detail. At one point, they literally make a Scud missile and fire it. Okay, whatever. Like, you're in a fantasy world and you build a Scud missile. All right, cool. Yes. Now, is it a bad story? No, it's really not. It's all right, I guess. But like, it the epitome of power trip. Ultimately, it's an epitome of the power trip. All right. Let's see here. That's not the anime I was going to talk about. Where are you? That's a good explanation. It's there for the lulz. That's a good way of putting it. Sword Art Online alternative Gun Gale Online, which follows the girl wearing pink with a machine gun. It's getting a second season. In case anyone needed to know that. I'm going through my watch list so it helps me keep track of like what animes I kind of wanted to talk about. Oh, an anime that's surprisingly getting a sequel. I was not expecting this. Sequel season. Sorry. Trapped in a dating sim. The world of otome games is tough for mobs. Now, for those who don't know what an otome game, it's the opposite of a harem game. And when I say opposite, harem games usually you're a male main character and you have a bunch of women. Otome games are the opposite. You are a woman who has a bunch of guys that you pursue for dating reasons, not sleeping with, but dating reasons. So it's an otome game. The main character, he beat an otome game for his sister and then wakes up as an NPC character in the otome game. He knows the game well enough that he gets away with a lot of shit. And it is ultimately a power trip story. I'm not gonna lie, it is a power trip story, but there is a lot of moments in it. Like someone actually described it as it's very red pilled, which like you're gonna say he has like very anti women moments in him, and I can see it. His issue is there's a lot of because women have all the power in that world. Like it's not a matriarchy per se. Speaking of women, it's not a matriarchy per se. It's just that yeah, we'll just call it matriarchy. I don't know how it's not because like the king is still in charge of everything, but the queen, like all the women in there control the levers of power. So it's like really confusing. But anyway, so like it does have some like red pill moments you could describe it as. Um, but yeah, anyway, so he's an NPC character, and he starts with his knowledge of the game, starts breaking some of it, and ultimately it's really good. It actually is good. I did enjoy it. It is a power trip, and it's got a couple moments in there where the character who needs to get punched in the face gets punched in the face, either literally or socially, and it's really good. Like one of my moments is like you have this really snobbish rich girl who's like destroying his tea party that he was throwing because for some reason tea parties are a thing, and like he's being the proper host, just like dealing with it, and then somebody says you need to stop now. She turns around and starts tearing into this person. Like, who do you think you are? My family is one of the. You're tearing into the queen. And it's just one of those moments. Really good. I do recommend it. But that one's getting a second season, so yay. The one issue I do have with it, it has the usual anime character having an emotional constipation, and I'm actually like, oh, she can't love me because of, even though it's like, even I could see that she loved him. Like if I was in his shoes, I'd be like, oh, she apparently cares about me. Where's the other one I was looking for? Did I take it completely off the watch list? Don't usually delete things off my watch list unless they just truly piss me off. Ugh, I must have looked past it. Oh, I'm going to talk about Tower of God. So I'm roughly caught up to it. Like I didn't watch the last couple episodes. This is a good anime. I'm going to tell you all right now, it's a good anime. It's a good anime. Everything I'm going to tell you right now, it's a good anime. I recommend watching it. It's a good anime. All right? With that part being said, something that gets under my skin, like there's a couple of anime things that gets under my skin. This is not just anime, but all storytelling. One is when the main characters sit there and watch the enemy power up or set up their evil master plan that they could have easily stopped. That annoys the hell out of me. Like, I've actually gotten to the habit of screaming at the screen, fucking do something. That doesn't happen in this one. The other thing that gets under my skin randomly is when you can see a betrayal coming. Everything in your brain screams, that person's going to betray you. That person's going to betray you. Now, mind you, I can understand the character's not catching this, but like every one of your senses scream, that character is going to be an evil character. And you know it's coming. You see it coming. Now, mind you, like, this is definitely a journey, not the destination kind of anime. That's just the first season I'm talking about. Second season is something else entirely. But yeah, this one will play with your emotional heartstrings too. Good, bad way, take your pick. Let's see here. The one I'm thinking of? Oh yeah, this is the anime that pissed me the hell off. Alright, I gotta talk about this one. Alright. So, I'm not gonna say I'm a good writer. I'm not gonna say I'm a decent writer. This one does lay the groundwork for some interesting concepts. There are 3 things I'm gonna complain about, and I will be doing spoilers. So, let's start with the beginning. The main character is a summoner, hence the thing. I don't know why it's called The Last Summoner. Really don't fucking know, because there's like 50 of them in there at least. Actually, there's a whole society. Fuck off, I guess. Anyway, he accidentally summons a character who just straight up gets referred to as a goddess. I can't remember what her name is. By the way, this is actually a Chinese anime, so like the first episode, like everything sounds a lot more Chinese, and then it gets better as it goes on. Because some people actually find the first couple episodes a little off-putting because of that. I don't know why. Anyway, so he summons a goddess and becomes a summoner for the first time because he made a really good bowl of ramen. I'm like, hey, I love a good bowl of ramen. And I can kind of get that. You know, people sacrifice food to gods all the time, or they used to. Kind of fits. And he sees this beautiful woman come through a portal in reality. And he drops his ramen, which, you know, okay, cool. She turns into like a little kid version, which you can see on the screen right there, and catches it, like eats it up immediately. And what's his response? Grabs her, throws her out the door. She teleports right back in like it's nothing. Does it again. Teleports right back in like it's nothing. He's like, all right, I'm going to school. The whole time she's trying to talk to him. She's trying to explain to him what's going on. And he's just like not paying attention to it. He's the only one who can see her. She's sitting there making all these noise, trying to get his attention, trying to talk to him this whole freaking time throughout class. And even to the point where when this one girl is trying to give him a love letter and stuff, he screams at the girl, not the girl giving the letter, but the little summon, to basically tells her to fuck off. And of course the girl giving him the love letter, like, oh no, what did I do? And runs away. All he had to do was say, give me a minute, let me get this stuff out of the way, then we can talk. So his personality pisses me off. And you do find out he actually is a good person. Like, there's more into that later. But that just annoys me about that character. And then the other thing. Unless they announce a season 2, don't watch this anime. I'm not joking. I'm not saying the anime is bad. I'm going to tell you right now. Do not watch this anime unless they make a second season. And the reason why is nothing is resolved in the first season. Nothing. Not a damn thing. There's like one cool epic fight, don't get me wrong. But not a damn thing is resolved in the first season. In fact, let me explain it to you this way. If you've watched Bleach, let me explain it to you this way. Imagine if the first season of Bleach ended with them going to the Soul Society. Like, not doing anything in the Soul Society, just them arriving there. That was the end of the first season. And then there was no season 2. That's what happens effectively. Without giving you spoilers, that's the feeling it's going to give you. It's going to set up all this amazing idea, and then nothing. So that's why this anime pissed me off. Let's see here. I haven't found the anime I wanted to talk about. I must have deleted it off this list. They don't delete things off my list even after they're finished, because I'll sometimes rewatch them. I'll give you this recommendation. This one is a bit of a power trip. Straight up is. Berserk of Gluttony. Everybody's got classes and stuff like that. He's got the ability Gluttony, which for a long time just meant he was always hungry, but he had like no stats, because everybody has like character sheets and shit. He has like no real stats to him. He eventually, he ends up killing a thief who was breaking into the place he was protecting, and his ability activates for the first time, and he gets these skills and attributes of the person he killed, and he finds out that's what Gluttony actually does, and it goes on from there. There's more to it than that. Ultimately, it's a power trip, and it is not a harem. Like, you're looking at the picture and you're like, it's a harem anime. Actually, it's not. The only love interest is this girl right here. So, it's actually not bad. It is a power trip fantasy, but it is actually not bad. It does have the one problem I mentioned before of emotional constipation, where for some reason the character finds it impossible to say how he feels about the character that he's interested in, and she can't do it either. So it has that problem. Even by episode 12, they still don't really address it. But, ultimately, not a bad anime. If anybody's got any animes I need to talk about or any thoughts on what I've said, just hit me up. I got the comment section up. I can see it just fine. Let's see here. Oh, I haven't finished this one. I've only gotten like 2 episodes in. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it. So we were talking about main characters who piss me off. All right, let's start with this. First off, the woman on the front is his mom. And, like,
she has a really inappropriate relationship with her son, like what she wants from him, because like it's suggested it's actually not, it's romantic love, not familial love. Okay, whatever, but I'm gonna ignore that detail for right now. I have never wanted to punch a main character so hard in my life. She shows nothing but love and affection to him when they're back in their house. She's making his favorite food. She's just trying. She calls him by a pet name. She's just trying to be affectionate towards him. All she's doing, and he is being the most disrespectful little shit. And it just made me want, like, if I could go through the screen and punch him in the face, I would not have stopped. And now, mind you, after that it gets really inappropriate. Like he straight up tells her he doesn't love her, and that pisses me off. Mind you, remember I wasn't raised by my parents. I was raised by my grandparents, and even then, I could never fathom saying something like that to either one of them. So like, that's all I got. But anyway, the actual concept is, for reasons they both get pulled into a video game, isekai style, and she ends up becoming much more powerful. You had a rough morning? We'll talk about it after stream if you want. I gotta play some Code Vein so I can get ready for Wednesday. Means I might actually stream Dark Souls 3 today if I feel up for it. I don't know. Oh, I've scrolled past it like 5 times because no, it's not that one. This is it. This is it. This is the one I've been wanting to talk about. I forgot what it was even called. I don't know why my brain wasn't clicking. Anyway, here it is. That's not good. You should stop drinking so much alcohol. Wait, you're not Nick. Is this a zombie? So in case you're wondering, no, the main character, the character in that picture is not the main character. Main character is a guy. Even before the story starts, he's died. Got hit by a car or a truck, whatever. And no, he doesn't get isekai'd. He does get resurrected by a necromancer. So zombie now. He can't die. Catch his limbs and shit. And he's legitimately a good guy. Like it opens with him saving a cat and getting hit by a truck again. And he got stabbed to death. That's how he died the first time. Anyway, first episode. He interrupts a fight with the girl in the back. She's a magical girl, like the ones who wear dress, like Sailor Moon. I can't remember what they're technically called, but Sailor Moon kind of girl. As she's fighting a monster, she uses a chainsaw. And after she finds out he's a zombie and her attacks didn't kill him, she tries to blank his mind. The problem is, he stole her powers. Which means two things. One, she no longer has those powers. And two, he does. Meaning he transforms into a magical girl, which he freaking hates, because he makes a big deal about him cross-dressing. It's kind of funny. And then, of course, a vampire ninja moves in, too. Because he's got the female necromancer who resurrected him, her, and none of them show him any respect. The necromancer can only talk through writing, so you can look at that however you want. She is just straight up a total bitch to him, and so is the vampire ninja, referring to him as maggot exclusively. So it's not a harem anime, although it shows in his imagination every so often what he wants them to say. But the premise and a lot of the things that goes on is kind of funny. It is somewhat enjoyable. So, I gotta say 3.5. But something that you guys could keep an eye out for. If you're looking to kill time, there you go. I think there's only one season. No, I lied, there's 2 seasons. Damn, I got a lot to catch up on. I might finish that one, I don't know. Alright. Yeah, it's ultimately not a bad anime, but at the same time, I'm like, I really don't want to sit through the whole thing. Like, I can't sit through it in one go like I do with a lot of animes. Oh, so I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna talk about this anime. I've only seen the first episode. So there's a classification for anime to me. You have regular anime, and then you have anime that's basically hentai. And when I say that means it usually has a very compelling story, but then a lot of sexual stuff just happens to be in it too, like either straight sex or a lot of nudity. Because to me, hentai is there's sex with a thin plot connecting it, and then you have anime that's basically hentai. In that case, it's like Redo the Healer, where Redo the Healer has a legitimate story throughout the whole thing. It's just there's a lot of sex in it. This fits into the Redo the Healer category. I've only seen the first episode, but I wanted to bring it up for y'all's attention. Oh yeah, Harem at the End of the World is another one that technically is that way too, because it has a lot of plot and a lot of nudity, but not actually a lot of sex. I've only seen like the first or 2 episodes of that, but anyway. The 7 Mortal Sins. The story's literally about the fall of Lucifer. It's literally the story of the fall of Lucifer. So I need to explain more. First episode, Lucifer falls to hell and actually becomes a demon for the first time. And yeah, that's all I've really seen. But this has got the censored version, so you won't see any like actual sexual stuff going on. But you can probably find the decensored version. I've actually looked it up to see if there was one, and there is. But overall, it's a thing. Apparently, she actually gets pulled into the mortal realm because back into the human world, because that's what I saw in the second episode starting, is because when she was falling, she stopped on Earth through a church at one point and marked a human, and then she, at the end of the first episode, ends up pulling herself to that mark, pulling another demon with her too. That's all I've seen so far, but the art style and some of it is rather interesting. I'm not gonna lie, if I go back to watching this, I'll probably try to find the uncensored version, just because like the gratuitous like bright light covering things and like the weird mystical symbols covering other things, it kind of bothers me. Like, it's just very distracting. Like, it's more distracting than the actual nudity would have been. Like, I can't explain why. But yeah, something that you can keep on your radar if you're wanting to watch something very mature. Alright, I think I've covered all the animes I wanted to talk about. Because I could talk about No Longer Allowed in Another World. New episode dropped today. It was a pretty good episode. That anime, like, starts badly, but it does get a lot better. Oh yeah, The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic second season's been announced. Alright, here's one. This is the last one I'm going to recommend. I'm going to talk about, then I'm going to start winding down. Probably talked about this one before. Didn't I say to make my abilities average in the next life? So, isekai story. Girl on the far right's the isekai one. She's insanely OP. So what the god who resurrected her did was he took the average, not of all humans, of all beings. So from the greatest dragon lord to the smallest cockroach, to the weakest cockroach, she sits in the middle, which still puts her like 100 times more powerful than any human. And it has an interesting concept for the magic. It actually explains how magic exists in this world. It's actually not magic. It's actually technology. It's nanites. But they don't know that. Only she does. And now the reason I'm recommending this, by the way, all 4 characters are female. Like the blonde one actually is a female. Very tomboyish, but a female. It will play with your heartstrings. Like, this has like, it's a power trip fantasy, but still plays with your heartstrings throughout the whole time. Like, no joke. Like, really no joke. Especially because the main character, she feels like she can't make friends. Like, she can't connect. And the whole time the other ones are like, no, we're fucking friends. What the hell's wrong with you? I do recommend this one. Just remember, it is a power trip. Like, the main character, like, when physical violence can solve the issue, she can solve the issue. But that's not always the issue. So, anyway. Alright, anybody got anything else they want to bring up? Bueller? 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 Alright. For those who missed me saying it earlier, there will be no stream on this channel Thursday. I'll be streaming over on the Jack Daedalus channel because Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2. I have not watched Van Dread yet. Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2 Early Access drops this Thursday, so I'll be probably streaming that. And then I have my regular stream on Wednesday, which will probably be me doing some Dark Souls 3, then Code Vein with my little sister. Depending on when I wake up. And then Friday will be my usual Jack Daedalus stream. I am trying to stream on this channel more, or if nothing else, stream longer on here. So I actually got to start getting more topics instead of just like pulling things out of my ass. Or get a co-star that allowed me to stretch times out. Anyway. Appreciate y'all being here. See you on the next one.